Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are nearly 24 hours removed from that practice match against Richmond. We're going to be... Oh, hold on. I feel like what I'm going to do with the fan takeaways is as early as possible, get a quick turnaround and do the fan takeaways. So for those of you joining and aren't too familiar with the format of today's show, it will be a recurring show, and effectively all you need to do to get involved in this interactive show is to submit your takeaways via Instagram that I post on my stories after the game. We had a bunch of entries over the last 24 hours or so, a little less. So plenty of thoughts, some deep thoughts from you guys, and some that we've probably heard that we can extend on a little bit more as well. So I thought we'll do that, and then we'll probably listen to some of the interviews that took place after the game, a little bit of news from SEN as well that we can just sit back and consider together. So what we'll do is we're going to start pretty much straight away. Let me just open up some stats just so I'm across it all. Just so I'm on the ball. Richmond, Collingwood, player stats. And we don't care too much for the Tigers, do we? So we'll go to the hot pies. Okay. And the first one we have off the bat is... Oh, hold on. Why is my style not the way it should be? Hold on a minute. What's going on here? Anyways, we're going to have to deal with it. So, Perriman is the Titch replacement. I think yes and no. I think Perriman is a little bit more versatile than Tom Mitchell. And I also don't think Harry Perriman has the same contested ability that Tom Mitchell has at his best versus maybe Perriman's best. Although we're yet to see what Perriman's best is just yet. So I feel like once we get half a season under our belts, we'll have a good sample size and we'll know for sure then what type of player Perriman looks like for the long term. He's got that full-time role and is someone, we're just going to get a great return from. Next up, we have Barry, 1975-9999. Ryan should have played. Should have he? I'm assuming you'd probably have Ryan playing over Markov or taking Will Parker's spot. That's basically what you're probably implying there, right? So if he takes Will Parker's spot, he probably only gets 20% game time. Or Ed Allen, who only played 34%. So if that's the case, then why, 22% game time, taking Will Parker's workload or playing a full game of VFL of considering where you're at the moment and how competitive that spot is right now. I reckon now that the VFL game is all said and done, he's probably glad in the end that he got to play that VFL game, got all the minutes he needed under his belt. The VFL side actually ended up playing Richmond as well, and they also won by 80 odd points. Charlie West kicked 4 goals. Harry Mahoney kicked 2 of his own. Ash Johnson was there with 2 goals. So while there's no footage or deep statistics, some good signs for Charlie West to be kicking 4 goals in a VFL, albeit a practice match. Okay, fine. But yeah, he's just going to be something to behold this year. That's for sure. That is for certain. Slobber, how you going? John, I rate Parker higher than Ryan. Fair enough. Well, what we can say for certain is Parker's played more AFL games than Ryan at this point. So considering Parker was inducted into the system just last year as a Category B rookie, and he's already played more games than Jacob Ryan, probably indicates that old mate Craig McRae is really happy with the way Will Parker is going about his footy. Why, ladies and gentlemen, is this happening? There we go. Hold on. It was just doing my head in. I need my color. All right, there we go. All right, we're back. So we'll move on to the next topic, or the next fan takeaway. Mick _M27. This is what you want to see. Dominate sides. This is what you want to see from dominant sides. Wait, let me read that again. Hold on. Help me out, guys. This is what you want to see. Dominate sides. I'm just going to refine that. You love to see Collingwood dominate sides like Richmond, which is 100%. You couldn't be any closer to the truth, really. That's a great call. It would have been a disaster. Sorry, guys. I don't know why this is playing up, but it would have been an absolute disaster had we won the game by 3-4 goals and kept Richmond in it. Like if we saw the first quarter where Richmond were kind of unlucky with some of their shots on goal. They had 8 scoring shots, basically the same amount as us in that first quarter. If it trended all the way through like that, there would have been a lot of noise in the media. But we just had to win convincingly. Doesn't matter if it's a practice match. We just had to do it. We had to. So good point there, Mick. That's what we want. We didn't miss either Billy Frampton or Charlie Dean. So Reef has passed them. But how do we play the big full forwards? Well, geez. When you think about Curnow Mackay, Jesse Hogan, and what's old mate's name? Jake Riccardi, these sort of tandems. Brisbane have some great up-and-coming youngsters as well that are going to cause issues. Who else do you have? You have teams like Gold Coast with Ben King, who always seems to do very well against us. So, yeah, the Twin Tower type of teams like Carlton is going to be difficult for sure. Because, look, you could put Billy Frampton in as a stopgap for those games. But it is risky if you're only going to play him for X amount of games just to fulfill a role. I think that would be risky business. Really, you're probably just going to need Darcy Moore to stand up. You're going to need Jeremy Howard to stand taller than what he really is, and Reef McInnes just to battle tooth and nail just to break even in as many contests as possible. But that's what we didn't get to see yesterday a great deal was for defensive half pressure on us with repeat inside 50s from Richmond. It didn't happen a great deal. And then when it did, we were set up quite well. So it's certainly something that will need answering at some point this year. Houston, from Chris, Houston's composure coming out of the back line will be huge all year. We were talking about it last night, weren't we? He sort of just struts on the field with a little bit of swagger. Like he's confident. He's almost laconic, but does the right things with the ball. Doesn't look concerned. Never looks hurried. How many score involvements did he have off the half back line? Where's old mate Houston? He had 5 score involvements, and Josh Daicos, his good mate, had 7. So 12 scoring involvements between 2 players of the half back line in the same team is something that will take you a very long way this year, 100%. To be considered like an elite score involvement halfback flanker, you probably want to be averaging 5 to 6 score involvements. That's like top 3, right? Dan Houston was that last year. Josh Daicos will more than likely be that. And who's to say they can't score 15 goals put together between them two, scoring goals the way they did last night? So There's so much to love about what Dan Houston brings to the side, and I think he's going to teach Josh Daicos a ton of little tips and tricks off the half back line. All right, Maverick Buckley with some hard hitting questions. Was playing Allen and Parker late, prepping them for a sub role, how to come in and make an impact? It was probably more or less, all right, well, where are we coming from? We're coming from a place where we haven't played any intra clubs. We played, 50 minutes, two sides played 50 minutes each, Collingwood against Gold Coast and Brisbane. Fly would have just been mindful, and he just said, you know what, we've got to play our best side for as long as possible, minus Nick Daicos. If you're an absolute superstar, he gets a little bit of rest. But players like Pendlebury played the whole bloody game. And that was planned because in an interview today from yesterday before the game, Pendle said, no, I'm gonna play most of the game. What do you end up playing? 62%, which is one of the lowest. But if your name's Nick Daicos or Scott Pendlebury, you get a bit of time off ground. So yeah, I think it's more so to do with we just got to get legs into the players who will 100% be starting. And with Allen, I just don't think he is ready just quite yet. And now that we've seen Harry Perriman in the midfield, the excitement for Ed Allen has sort of taken a back seat. Not in a bad way. It's more or less because now we have someone who's ready, Perriman, and we have someone like Ed Allen who will be knocking at the door, but he won't be rushed. He can bide his time in the VFL and have some really string together some really, really strong performances. So great question there again, Bucks. Let's see. Fly talks about horses for courses regularly. I'd expect them to play a role against certain teams like the Blues or Freo. Yeah, see, I don't know. I just don't think it's good for the continuity of the team, but I can also understand seeing that happening, considering how well he can play against someone like Carlton. Yeah, Houston's composure and ball use separates him from John Noble. Chris, I'm good. I'm good, mate. Straight home from work, back onto the stream, and here we are. Pendles looked back at his. That's what I was saying last night, John. I said, is it just me, or does Pendlebury look a little bit faster than normal? And he's not a fast man. Usually, he likes to woo his opposition by way of shaking and baking, not turning on the jets. He did that a few times. Oh, he must be super fit. He must be super fit this off season. Slobbo, what's your thoughts on all the ACLs that are happening to do the eighth on it? Nah, it's just the nature of the sport. It's 360. It's contact. It's a lot of load, a lot of conditioning that goes into it. A lot of fatigue sets in. It's just inevitable. It's the sport. It is what it is. What else do we have? Luke, Eggs WSC. IQ looking as good, if not better, than his 2023 performance. Could get to the All-Australian best 22 if this is what we see. Mate, what we saw yesterday, wow. I'd mentioned last night he was he had almost the most intercept possessions. He did have the most intercept possessions for the Magpies, the Hot Pies. I want to see, how do you go for intercept marks? Let's see. So we will go intercept marks. And what else do we want to see? Defensive half, contested defensive 101s. How about that? And anything else that, let's say, forward 50. No, not forward 50. Let's just go ground ball gets as well. I think that's worth noting. So Isaac Quaynor had 4 intercept marks yesterday. And just for reference, guys, with Isaac Quaynor, I know it's a practice match. I know, settle down. Gee whiz. But last year, I don't think Quaynor had 4 intercept marks in a single game. Let's have a look. Let's go here. Thank you. So, he had 4 intercepts last night compared to 2024. He had, promise you we're nearly there. Intercepts. He had 4 in round 10 against Adelaide. Beyond that, he had 3 once. He had 2 4 times, and the rest were a bunch of ones and quite a number of donuts towards the back end of the year, where he played a little bit more wing. So that naturally will change. In 2023, how many times did he get more than 4 intercept marks? He had 4 intercept marks twice. He had 6 intercept marks once, and he had 8 intercept marks once, being the season high. He only had 1. He didn't have 0 intercept. Not one game did he register a donut in 2023 for 0 intercept marks. Most of his games were 2s, 3s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games where he took 3 or more intercept marks. So that's the form we saw last night from IQ, and I think we're going to get that 2023 version of him. A lot of people saying, we're going to get this defensive half ball movement back from our 2023 form. I'd say maybe a different evolution of it, because we do need to evolve and be mindful that opposition sides are going to be cognizant of what we're trying to achieve. So what a lot of you didn't notice, or maybe you did, we did score a lot of goals from just going long down the line on the boundary. And if it starts in the defensive half, it's still considered a goal from originating in the defensive half of our field. So I feel like adding that to the game. How many times did you see the boys do this last night? They go, yep, that's going long before they kick it. My check would count maybe 3-4 times. Like, that's just the players understanding that it's okay to do that, because we've practiced it and we know what setup we need at the fall of the contest when it goes long down the line. Good question. Good statement there, Luke. What are the comments saying, my friends? Hey, Tim, how you going? Yeah, I'd say Melbourne's somewhat sunny today. It's been a little bit funny recently, hasn't it? Do you think? Yeah, Ruckman. Yeah. I think if Mick stays in the squad and Mason Cox is not, I think Big Stave will be the ruckman. Cat for Alpha. Do you think Houston and Perriman will both be playing in the midfield for Collingwood? No, I think Perriman will play in the midfield and Houston will play in the back line. Can we fit Mason? I think we can. Stefanos, I think we can fit Mason into the team. I reckon it comes down to the matchups. I think if we play against an extremely small team, or if I imagine there might be a point where things aren't working and Fly want to experiment, and he'll want to have Mason Cox and the rest of the lads in the same team at once. I think we finally have a forward line that can kick 120 points regularly. You hit that mark, you're in premiership calculations, not just finals. Yeah. I mean, we got the firepower now. We had the firepower with our small forwards. Now we've got the firepower with our tall forwards. So hopefully we can have more comprehensive wins like we did last night. That would help my heart, wouldn't it? PG Black and White Heart. It confirmed to me that Nick Daicos is from another planet. What he did in just 59% game time was wow. Unbelievable, wasn't he? He had 8 tackles, 4 goal assists, nearly 30 odd disposals, whatever it was. Like, he was. I said it in a post-game show yesterday. He finds a way to get better when you don't think it's possible. So what we're going to do now is, guys, we've done the fan takeaway, so we've smashed through that. So thank you everyone for sharing those through. We're going to listen to some snippets from SEN today and hear what they had to say about Collingwood last night. Share screen. And we'll go like this. And get rid of the banner. All right, let's have a listen. What'd they say?
They did in the off-season. They look to be better as a result of their additions and some of the positional moves. So their half-back line was just at times breathtaking yesterday. Nick Daicos.
When they
Josh Daicos looked like, he was reading things before it happened and then gets on and goes. Houston we know about. Quaynor looked a lot better. Nick Daicos we've run out of superlatives. Was just extraordinary. And then Membrey kicks 4 goals with Mycheck and McStay. So they were just ticks everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. And if you've got a superlative or an adjective to describe Nick Daicos that hasn't been used already,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from it.
I don't think there's one.
You look at the additions to their team, Collingwood, and this is a strategy like a recruiting type strategy. Clearly,
Yeah.
The last couple of years they've added. McStay has come in, Schultz has come in, Houston's come in, Perriman's come in, Membrey's come in. Now, the age profile of those guys, there's only McStay is the closest to around 30. He'll turn 30 this year, so they're not going to all be around for a long, long time.
No.
But at the same, they're topping up with players who will play.
Yeah,
like they're not just backup type players. All those guys, I would think they're going to be in. Maybe Membrey would be the one. He's the oldest. Sorry, he's the oldest of those 5. Maybe he's the one that might be the most challenged to play week in, week out. With I wondered how they were going to play him alongside Mycheck because I see them almost and McStay, like they're almost a similar. They're not a massive, big focal type forward that we see a lot of the sides employing, but they move the ball like that. Tim Membrey must have been licking his chops yesterday, thinking, wow, it's nice to play in a team like this. And I know, St Kilda have tried to move the ball quickly, but they have never, ever resembled the way that Collingwood play their football. And when it's on and the ball is moving that quickly and swiftly through the ground, there is nothing like that for a forward to be able to find their space.
Imagine the possibility of selling beyond expectations. That move to the city or country you've longed for. The thought of owning your forever home. Whatever your hopes and dreams, we're here to make them a reality. Harcourts, we make it possible.
All right, never mind. So, takeaways from that. So, just basically, really, what I got from that, or the things that mattered from that sort of little snippet, was just the look that Membrey will get in our side. Some people were throwing around last night that Membrey could kick 50, 40 goals. I don't think he needs to. I definitely don't think he needs to kick 50 or 40. I think a good year from Tim Membrey is 30, 25, 30 plus being a decoy for Mycheck, for McStay. Look, St Kilda are going a different path. We got to reap the benefits. Nobody wanted to trade for Tim Membrey, therefore he gets delisted. He didn't want to accept that 1-year contract that St Kilda put on the table. He takes 2 from Collingwood. And look, if there's ever a club, right? There's ever a club where you can squeeze the lemon a little bit more in your career, it would be at Collingwood, because you've got living proof at the club. Belief goes a long way. If you're 32 and you're the oldest player at St Kilda, 31, 32, and you've got no one to look up to, you're probably going to have some doubts, and there's going to be nobody to reinforce that you can go an extra couple of years. At Collingwood, you got still side bottom over 35. Jeremy Howe's nearly there. Pendlebury's 37. So all he has to do is look around him. He goes, hold on, I'm 30, 31, 32. Pendlebury's 37. Why don't I have another extra couple of years in me? I reckon that goes a long way on its own. That belief, that proof that is in the pudding. Copying, trying to emulate everything that Pendlebury does from Monday to Sunday to ensure that he can stick around for as long as possible. So I liked that conversation there. We have another one that I'd like to share. This is regarding Dwayne Russell, Dwayne's World. Share this tab instead. All right, let's go. Here we go.
You have to have Collingwood in your 8 on last night's performance. They've added Dan Houston, and we had another caller yesterday talking about Bobby Hill. He might be in for an even better season this year. Might be spot on. Kingy's thoughts on Richmond and Adam Uze and Noora Uze, all those kind of things come into your mind when you're watching that last night. But one thing that did strike me last night was that Collingwood has to be in your 8. If Collingwood's not in your 8 on what you saw last night with Dan Houston added, then you obviously didn't watch last night, or you just have a bent against Collingwood. And as I mentioned with Gerard Whateley, I'll tell you who my second best player in the competition is. It's Daylight. Because Nick Daicos, sure, it was only a preseason game, but that's why it was so impressive. 32 possessions, 6 clearances, 8 tackles in a game where most players would try and get through without laying one. Second most tackles on the ground. Who does what Nick Daicos
In 60%, less than 60% game time, 59%, mind you.
did last night? Bust their gut, go flat out, attack every contest, sprint away at full speed, and lay tackles to set a standard in a preseason game like he did last night. He's not even the captain. He, like
Beyond Pendlebury, Nick Daicos is my captain.
many stars are cruising into round one, but not Nick Daicos. He's a standard setter. And when he puts the boots on, whether it's training, whether it's trial games where you win them by 83 points and you kick 21 goals, Nick Daicos doesn't do 80%. And I love that about watching Nick Daicos. He just does not do 80%, regardless of where he is.
It's true. Even at training, guys, at training, Nick Daicos, from contest to contest at training, is 110% at it. He's running past everyone and trying to get to every contest that he possibly can. He kicks the ball to the 50-meter mark from defense. He gets that contest if it's not a mark. He might even try to get the handball receive off that mark. He is literally just following the ball with an element of timing, when to arrive to the contest, how to approach the opposition, or how to approach the player that is on your team that has the ball as well. So what he does in games like last night, he does that at training. He doesn't have a 50%, a 75%, and 100% effort switch. He is 100% through and through. And that's why he's just doing what he's doing on a consistent basis, because he doesn't pull any punches at training. And that goes with tackles as well. Whereas other players, they won't tackle at training. Not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm just saying that he is, at least right now in his young career, he is full on. What's this? There's a new docuseries. Collingwood takes fans inside preseason with the grind. Have any of them been posted? Let's share this tab. Let's have a little squiz through the Collingwood website, because there's a bunch to go through. Trailer for the grind got me pumped. Let's have a look. Let's watch it. I hope I don't get copyright from this, but we'll run it. We'll run it.
Didn't get what we wanted. We felt unfulfilled, but we also understand that it's not that far away.
I have these goals. One is to win a flag, and I'm willing to do whatever to get that feeling again.
It means I beat last year.
I think if I can play with freedom, build the connections with the teammates, the coaches, and the game plan.
Doesn't miss!
Growing up a bit more now and tend to not worry about what everyone else is thinking and put our best foot forward and prove everyone wrong. Sent him a photo of the champagne, just said it's been popped.
Mate, don't pop it. Like, it's not fully done. And then it got canned. I'm like, mate.
Become a lot more aware and a lot more proud of who I am and what my culture is and my background.
Broke little friend that has no money or no job to do.
Actually pretty nervous. Bit of butterflies, but looking forward to the game. I think it'll be a good hit out.
Welcome to the nest. All the boys are hurting, but we know we'll be better for it.
This group just keeps on amazing with their mindset, unreal stuff.
Are you in the leadership group? Do you lead? Are you ever going to change being yourself? No. Well, what you just did outside, from all reports, was amazing.
Focus on your footy.
Yeah.
Let your footy do the talking.
Yeah.
This team's on. It means a lot. It means something to them. Have a look at them.
Exciting times. First proper hit out of the year. Very exciting.
Woo! How good's that? So when does that get released? Chris, you said, uploaded to YouTube. So from this Sunday, March 2nd, the 4-part series takes viewers inside the AFL team's preseason and offers a glimpse into the lives of electrifying forward Bobby Hill, new recruit Dan Houston, and emerging leader Isaac Quaynor. Interesting. So episode 1 and 2 on Sunday at 7 p.m. And then episode 3 and 4 on Monday and Tuesday leading into the big week. So that is really good. Love that. All right, let's have a look. Oops. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Let's go videos. Yeah. Let's have a listen. All right, let's have a listen to Mr. 37 touches himself, Pat Lipinski.
We all want financial security to be able to weather the uncertain times. Invest in Latrobe Financial's multi-award-winning 12-month term account with income paid monthly.
Oh, Lipper, comprehensive victory to complete our pre-season. How did you see the team performance?
Yeah, it was a pretty good performance. We obviously kicked really accurately, but yeah, main thing is that we just stuck to our processes and got through the game and played really well. Everyone played to their strengths and everything. So yeah, it was really good to get the result, but we weren't really focused on that today. It was more just putting in good processes for the season.
Yep. And our new faces in Tim, Dan and Harry all contributed well tonight. What's it like to have those guys out there?
So good, just extra experience. They've all got such good strengths in the team. Dan off halfback's amazing, and then Pez through the middle is just such a good player, so poised, and then Timmy up front is just a great mark, great bloke, and kicked plenty of goals. So yeah, they were all awesome tonight, and they're going to be great for a lot of years for us.
Yeah, on Tim, he did kick 4, and the key forwards combined for 10 goals tonight. What did you think of their performance, and how was the connection built over the pre-season between your group, the mids and the forwards?
Yeah, I didn't realise they kicked 10, but they passed them off too. So they were very unselfish, and it's not really about who kicks them. It's just a team goal. So that's all we focus on. But yeah, building connection throughout the pre-season's been great. And even having Dan back out there really helps. He played a few games at the end of last year, but just to see him healthy and jumping at the footy is just really great for us to see. And can't wait for what all 3 of those guys are going to bring this year.
And for yourself, you led the way for the team with disposals and meters gained. How did you feel out there?
Yeah, it was good. It was just good fun to be out there. Felt really connected with all my teammates. I think they were giving me the ball a little bit, which was nice. So, it was good fun, and to get the win was great too. So, all in all, it was a good night.
And 11 days out from our opening round clash with the Giants, how does it feel to wind up a long pre-season, and how excited are you to see the Collingwood fans up in Sydney?
Yeah, can't wait to see the Pies fans in Sydney. Hopefully we can pack out the Giants stadium there. But yeah, it feels great to be done pre-season. I think our last game was August 24 or something like that. So it's been a long few months of training individually. And then also as a team, we've been grinding away pre-season for 3 or 4 months. So yeah, really can't wait for the season. And hopefully plenty of Magpies members get up there and support us nice and loudly.
Thanks, Pat. Well done tonight.
There you go. A few generic questions. That's right. That's why we're here, so we can ask some a little bit more challenging questions. But Lipinski at training, I'd mentioned many times in the videos. And if you go back through the channel, you can see a lot of footage behind what Lipinski's been able to do at training. His running capacity has never been questioned, but just the way he was connecting in those match simulation drills, it just pointed to me and said, "Hey, Lipinski might be on here for a top 5 Copeland Trophy type of year." So I'm just glad. That's why I'm so invested in these practice matches. When you go to training and you go to training and on top of training sessions, and you see all these things in match sim, you want the next step. Okay, what's the next step? Practice matches. I want to see what I've been seeing at training get into these practice matches, filter into the practice matches, and then from there, official matches. And Lipinski was exactly one of those players that we had an eye on in the preseason, and he managed to translate that practice training form into the practice match. 37 touches, leads the meters gained as well. Looked really good out there, and we need him to be. I think Collingwood are a much better side when Lipinski is playing good footy. Kicked 4 goals against Port last year. Was it off the high half forward flank? Probably. But we need Lipinski and Jack Chris to hold down the wings so that we don't. I just feel like we didn't have much stability on the wings. Last year, it was Harvey Harrison, who's a great young player, right? We had Steele Sidebottom rotating. We had Jack Crisp. We had Patrick Lipinski. We had Finlay McRae at times. Who else did we have? We had Josh Daicos. It was just too much. it was just too much with these wingers. There was too much of a rotation. I understand players will go through that position, but I need to know who my two main wingers will be going into this year. We need Lipinski to hold it down. We need Jack Chris to hold it down so that Steel Sidebottom can play in the midfield, so that Josh Daicos can stay on the half-back line, so that we don't have to put Harry Perryman there so he can play in the midfield. These little things need to fall into place so that other pieces in the domino don't stumble over. Simon, how you going? Carl, 140 Supercoach points for Lipinski, unreal. Simon, I always feel like you say things tongue in cheek. I feel like Paddy Lipinski top five Copeland trophies is not a soft call. I feel like it could go either way. I'm not too sure how he's polled in the years gone by, but he certainly wasn't top five last year. So let's have a look. What else have we got? We got a bunch of content, so it's good. Finally getting into the year. So let's have a listen to our new recruit, Tim Membrey. Hopefully they're
gambling ads are
hard-hitting
priming kids to start betting as soon as they're old enough. Prepare your kids for the future by talking to them now about how gambling really works and who really wins. Talk to your kids today. Love the game, not the odds.
An emphatic performance tonight in our final tune-up before opening round. Plenty of positives. What are some you take away?
Oh, I think the boys used the ball really well, particularly from the back half. They were pretty slick when we were able to mark it and then just go straight away. So got some pretty good users down there in Dan, Daicos boys. So yeah, it was really good to move it from the back half and get some quality entries.
Obviously, your first full hit out in the black and white tonight, and it was a really outstanding showing, hitting scoreboard with 4 goals. Clearly, you must be pleased with that. But how have you sort of settled into the club over the pre-season?
Yeah, I think it's been great. You know, I've come in and guys like, Checkers and Dan and Bill, you know, they've really helped me out in learning the system pretty quickly. And guys like Bobby and those at the fall of the ball was pretty special. So it's certainly a well collective forward line down there, and they really complement each other. So yeah, I'm just happy to play a role where I can.
Let's talk about that forward line. Our accuracy tonight was pretty remarkable. I think at one point it was 21 goals with just one rush behind with it. Can you talk about that connection you guys do have down there, especially the 3 talls in yourself, Brody and Dan kicking 10 between you?
Oh, I think it's just something that, you know, we're probably first full hit out, like you've mentioned, together, and hopefully it's only just going to keep growing. So, but I think one thing that's really stood out to me so far is just how unselfish the group is. You know, they really try and bring each other into the game, whether it's just blocking and letting one fly, or, you know, passing off for a better shot, and something that I really love, you know, being a part of. So I hope that stuff just can keep growing.
And then lastly, what is it like having guys like Dan Houston and then Pendles and Nick Daicos, and there's many more delivering the ball to you in that forward line? It must be a pretty tantalising prospect.
No, it is. It's certainly special, and that midfield group, and like I said before, off the half-back line, just some really, classy users of the footy, make great decisions. But yeah, it's nice, and hopefully we can connect on a few more and really get the season rolling.
11 days now to opening round. What does the next sort of week and a half look like for the group?
I think we'll probably review the game and take out some positives and maybe some learnings, and where we can, just fine tune the game a little bit. But I'm sure the boys will just rest up now, recover, and really get themselves primed for a big opening round.
There you go. So really the only thing I took from that I hadn't heard before, I mean, I've probably heard it all before, but was the defensive half ball movement. And for those who have been following the channel for a long time, Collingwood in 22-23 were the number one side from the back half, whereas 24, we were right next to North Melbourne, West Coast, and Richmond in that stat category. When you're near those types of teams in 2024, you're not winning the flag. So it was something that was highlighted probably around the bye time last year on the channel, and we probably didn't make a move on it as a team until we put Josh Daicos in, which was probably, I want to say, around 15, 16, 17, quite late. right? If anyone can remember what game in particular he made his switch to the half back line. So we're not. I'd be very surprised if we seem to have that problem again next this season upcoming. If we have issues going in from transition from back to front, I'd be very surprised. Daicos is just gonna. Wow, like I think I counted last night. We have close to 8 All-Australian caliber type of players this year, with a couple who are probably a bit stiff to not be factored into those other 8 players that I've considered. So really, really promising year that we have up front coming towards us. Let's see, what else have we got? Roughhead. Let's see what the assistant, the defense coach for the Pies has to say.
Yeah, pleasing result. Obviously, you come into these games always hoping to win. And
on that note, Dom, while Roughhead brings up Ed Allen, I think we spoke about it a little bit at the very least. He does need to work on his kicking, but I think we can all agree, maybe in like November, December, we were all pretty stern on getting Ed Allen into that starting midfield mix. Now that we know for certain that Perryman will be full-time midfield, I think the need for Ed Allen, the absolute necessity of wanting and needing Ed Allen in the AFL side has significantly decreased while Perryman is there, which is a good thing because Ed Allen won't be rushed into the team like Finlay McRae was last year. Ed Allen probably, needs to work on his kicking efficiency. It's something that not only we see that yesterday he struggles with, we've seen that at training, we've seen that in games gone by. He's not a winger. He's an inside mid. I'm not sure if he can transform himself into, say, a mid-hybrid taller forward, standing at 6'4". He must not have the traits because he hasn't been tried there yet. So thanks for bringing that up, Dom. And then Southeast Wolf will be interesting if having the 3Ms up forward will make us use the corridor more. I think there's a fine balance, but certainly we saw Collingwood go long down the line more than we've probably seen in the last few years because we've trained it throughout the preseason. We certainly did train. Actually, for those who aren't aware, was nursing plantar fasciitis all season last year. He's been managing it all preseason. So I don't know if Ruffy is trying to underplay this situation. We just thought this was the right time to give Bruzzy some extra time to rest up after pulling up a little bit sore from 50 minutes of game time against Gold Coast and Brisbane last week. So we'll see. Keep an eye out. Something we noticed when he played at Brisbane in the 2021, I know we're going to way back, 2021 final series, he was superb with his second efforts in the ruck. And that's where we're going to get that benefit of having almost a fourth midfielder at times with McStay in. But the preface is we need DC to be playing, say, 85% time of his time in the ruck, similar to where Max Gawn, Cherry, and the likes are, to allow McStay to play his 15% in the ruck. We can afford that. That's fine. Anything beyond that, where DC played 75% last year and Coxie was taking 25%, I think if McStay was to take 25% of the workload in the ruck, we'd struggle. We would take a hit in the ruck. I think it needs to be when Cox isn't available / isn't playing, it needs to be 85-15 in favor of DC. There you go. I think we might not see Bruzzy and DeGoey, I reckon, in opening round. I think we're going to play it safe. So, where is this VFL report you say news, Simon? Collingwood VFL win against Richmond. Let's have a look. Yeah, I agree, Dom. I do agree, but we've got nothing else better than to roll the dice with Reeve McInnes. I mean, we know what Billy Frampton does. We know what Charlie Dean does. I just think we might just have to stick with it, and I think he'll be okay at the very least. So the Pies beat Richmond by 85 points at Punt Road Oval on Thursday morning. So it was an explosive 8-goal third term. A side made up of 10 AFL listed players, which you love to see. Charlie West and Liam Hood led the goal kickers tally with 4 each. Liam Hood, who are you? Liam Hood. Anybody know? Let's see. So he's 2004 born, therefore he would be 21, right? So he played for the Allies. He was a Lions Academy player. Yeah, damn, rip. What do you do? He kicked a goal a game and averaged 12 disposals in 3 games for the Lions Academy. In the national championships, he played, does it say games? 2 games and kicked 1 goal in those 2 games. So there you go. Liam Hood, 21 years old, nice and young. Charlie West kicks 4 goals. Ash Johnson, Riley Mason, Josh Bennett, who's from Hawthorn, and Harry Mahoney all kicked 2 majors. The great man. Share this tab and said, my apologies. Young tall forward West made his presence known in the forward line, taking some great contested marks and using his frame to his advantage. What do you mean blame Reef? What's going on? Oops, damn, rip, blame Reef. What happened? The Matrix has got him. What do you mean, guys? So, Collingwood led wire to wire. And that is about it. That's as good as the match report goes, right? And that's the AFL match highlights. Anyhow, ladies and gents, that wraps up the fan takeaways today. Let us know, guys, in the comment section and in the live chat if this is something you'd like to continue to see. I think it's something nice and easy to go through. A good way to recapture all the presses and some fan takeaways as well. But until it's Thursday, we'll probably see you a little bit later in a week. And till then, go Pies.